If you watch one Z Fold 6 video today, make it this one. Here is everything you need to know about the newly announced Galaxy Z Fold 6. Let's go. Last week, I got to go to Sydney as a guest of Samsung Australia to get hands-on time with all of the new things Samsung announced. Z Fold 6, Z Flip 6, Watch Ultra, Watch 7, Buds 3, Buds 3 Pro. Sadly missing was the Galaxy Ring. Some of those videos will come out alongside this one. This video is all about the Fold. I'm trying to focus on the features and upgrades that everyone else won't, because I think you can get specs and information everywhere. Here is where you come to find out how to do stuff. So it doesn't mean I don't want to look at some of the usual suspects, but that's not the focus. Let's start with the design. The design is fresh. Samsung have brought a different approach to its foldables for the first time in a few generations. The Folds 3, 4, and 5 all pretty much an iteration of themselves, whereas the Fold 6 is taking a different turn. It's still a foldable, screen on the front, bigger screen on the inside, but it looks different and cleaner, and definitely way more premium. The first thing I noticed immediately is how substantially lighter it is compared to the Fold 5 from last year. Unbelievably thin and light. Wow. I don't know what to film, like there's too much. I don't know what to do. You heard there me raving about it. It's 239 grams, which is just a fraction heavier than the S24 Ultra, which is a full-on fledged slab smartphone. So that is a massive achievement for Samsung to not really cut out any of the internals that the Fold 5 had and still make it this light. Crazy. And it folds in half. The new design is also, like I said, really nice. It's boxier, it's more industrial. It's that squared off shape that we like from the S24 Ultra. I in fact liken it to like an S24 Ultra Mini that then folds up into a tablet. It's quite incredible that it has that appeal about it for a phone that folds. A lot has been said about Samsung making the cover display wider. People in both camps have sort of talked about it a lot. No one really knows the right width, or at least they say that the other width isn't right and their one is. But for me, Samsung have pretty much nailed it with the Fold 6. I've always been team narrow, so I'm glad Samsung have resisted temptation to make it super wide, like a Pixel Fold, for example, and stick to the narrow form factor that has made it the most successful foldable on the planet. It is only 1mm wider in the hand compared to the Z Fold 5, meaning that it still maintains a very easy to hold one-handed grip, but the screen is now much more in line with a traditional smartphone. It's a little bit shorter as well, which I think has helped with the aspect ratio and still helped with that one-handed usability. You can reach the corners of the screen still quite easily. I kind of think it's basically an S24 that can unfold. Pretty nice. It's also, alongside that, substantially thinner, meaning that when it's open, it's very, very thin, and you can see the difference to the Z Fold 5 here, but when it's closed, it's incredible how thin it is. You can see it next to the Z Fold 5, how much thinner Samsung have made the components that sit inside the hinge. It's quite incredible to see it and hold it, and I think until you hold it, you won't really appreciate it. That sort of thinness and lightness makes it much more comfortable to go into pockets as well, and I did try it. The colors for the Fold 6 are probably the most fun colors that Samsung have put in yet. Definitely the most expressive. The navy, which is probably the most standard of the three colors that they've done, is so understated and classy, and the matte finish kind of adds to that. But the pink is very expressive and very fun, which we haven't really seen from a Fold before. Samsung putting in a more fun color option. Although the Mystic Bronze from the Fold 2 springs to mind, so maybe they have. You've also got the hero color, Silver Shadow, which kind of reminded me of the Note 10 Plus. It definitely picks up fingerprints, so you'll be wary of that for the Silver Shadow. Whereas I think for me, the navy, hands down, is my favorite. I cannot tell you how much the design impressed me. I was very impressed with how comfortable and how much it felt like a normal phone, but obviously it can do way more. So the design, definitely new. It got a fresh coat of paint on it. It looks different, feels different, but it can also do more now as well. A lot of it is down to what Samsung have brought in with the new Galaxy AI functions. Samsung said they pretty much revamped a lot of existing services and brought in new stuff as well. So much so that they've removed Galaxy AI out of the advanced features menu and given it its new place inside the settings menu called Galaxy AI. Let's start with the features that take advantage of the S Pen. These are the ones that I guess the rumors and leaks have kind of pointed to the most, but for me, they're also the most fun to use, but there are some practical benefits that I can see as well. Samsung have got this new feature called Sketch to Image, and it works across a multitude of different apps and services that you can take advantage of it in. The first place I want to show you is inside Generative Edit. Generative Edit being Samsung's AI photo editing service, which will remove stuff, make things bigger, move things around. But you can now, using Sketch to Image, draw directly onto the photo something you'd like to see. We were demoed a cup as part of our demonstration that we received, and the demos made it look so good and easy to use. I couldn't wait to try it for myself. I myself tried a crown, as long as some of the other guests that we were at the event with, and it replicated a real crown. You also get given multiple options of the crown or whatever you've drawn to choose from. So it's not just the one option. Samsung generate 4, and then you can choose which one you like or generate again. Crazy. Samsung Notes also has a sketched image function as well, but for this to work, you need to have already drawn the image in Samsung Notes so that it can recognize it and then bring up the options. However, it's a bit different from the one inside the photo editing because this will generate a painting or a style of painting that you can choose from, whether it be watercolor, whether it be sketch, whether it be a 3D sort of image. It can generate it based off your drawing. All you do is draw inside Samsung Notes first, hit Sketch to Image from the AI toolbar, and then hit Generate after you've selected your style. And then it brings up, again, multiple options for you to then insert into Samsung Notes. But if you don't want to do it inside Samsung Notes and you just want to generate the image, you can do it using the Sketch to Image app, which is on the phone itself. When you go into this version of it, it overlays it over the entire screen and allows you to just draw straight onto the screen something you want to see. It gives you a little prompt to show you how to use it first, and then you just go ahead. I tried to draw a couple of different things. I tried to draw a stick figure person, which it replicated, but I was most impressed by the volcano that it drew. I put in a terrible volcano sort of outline, and it turned it into a real painting of a volcano. Crazy. I went with Samuel to the event, and he had a really good idea, which you can hear now.
Video calls. Whoa! Come on. I drew that. Yeah? And she'd be like, why is the koala man different colour? I'd be like, well, this is what koalas look like in Queensland. She won't know. She has no idea. She doesn't know how to use the internet, so she'll believe me.
Very, very powerful feature, and I can imagine a lot of fun being had. And I love the idea, especially for parents, to draw their kids something. You can look like a genius. The next Galaxy AI feature we stumbled across was inside Samsung Notes, and it was a minute one. It was to do with handwriting. It's got a little handwriting guide button, which will basically guide you, and it's like an elevator version of what they've had before, to keeping things neat and orderly and on the same line. And you can see it working in real time. When you start writing, it draws a line and then makes sure that any letters that you wrote down get brought back to that level. And you just see it happening in front of you in real time, kind of like magic. But the bigger one inside Samsung Notes is the transcription assist that they brought and borrowed from the voice recorder. So inside the voice recorder app, we know how it can transcribe the entire voice recording that you've done. Samsung Notes could also record voice and audio, but they've now just brought the transcription assist over. So the demo we were shown was the same thing that happens inside voice recorder, but now inside Samsung Notes. In addition to the notes transcription, you can also generate a summary. So it works exactly the same. It's now just in another place too. Samsung also brought AI into selfies. So if you take a selfie and it only works for one person, you can go into the generative edit button and you'll see Portrait Studio. Inside Portrait Studio, you can then select a style of portrait that you would like to generate. It's mainly cartoon based. So whether that be a 3D cartoon, whether that be a comic book character, you select from the list and hit generate. I was shockingly surprised at how accurate some of the representations were. It created me in this way that I'd never seen myself before. Curly hair. I mean, I'll take any hair at this point. And it looked great. I really liked how it generated 4 different options too, and I could select which one I wanted to. It does let you know that it was generated by AI, so you can't fool anyone with it. It has a nice little logo in the corner with writing to indicate that fact. There was some other AI stuff that I noticed in the menu. Photo ambient wallpaper has now been brought out of labs and into the main AI menu, so well done on getting promoted. There's also Health Assist, which I think will work with the wearables like your Ring and your Galaxy Watch, which we'll talk about in other videos. In terms of camera, there's no hardware changes. The only changes that you're going to see for the camera is the stuff that we saw with the S24 Ultra earlier in the year. So because it's got the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, you've got all of the new sort of capabilities that brings with it. Whether that be 4K auto framing, whether that be portrait video that you can now zoom between, whether that be the dual recording modes in 4K 30 as well. All of that is now here with the Z Fold 6. So I've only had a few hours with the Z Fold 6, but for me, I know where to look for some of these upgrades, and these are the ones that I found most interesting to share with you here on Unpack Day. Obviously, I'm going to bring you loads more from not only the Fold 6, but also all the other stuff that got announced. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and come and join me for all the new stuff that we're going to talk through. Let me know what it is you're looking forward to seeing, and I'll see you in the next one. You!